What is going on, YouTube? Billy Rains here. How's everybody doing today? Me? Rangers won last night. I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. I'm doing pretty good. Anyway, you guys don't care about all that. What you guys really care about is the title of the video, which is going to be something along the lines of OTR versus regional versus local, something along those lines. So, just to kind of set the parameters, do a little anime style, precursor, what led to this video kind of thing. Basically, I was on the phone talking to one of my homeboys late last week, and he was like, we were talking, just chopping it up like two big dogs do, and that's DAWG, not DOG. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So we were talking, and he said, you should make a video with your take on the whole OTR versus regional versus local driving thing, because you have an interesting, because for you guys that don't know, my name's Billy Rains. I've been a truck driver for about 5 years, and over this time I've gone from OTR to regional to now being a local driver here, operating around the Dallas area, delivering locally, going home every day, doing the local thing. So, he was telling me, you got an interesting take on all this, seeing as you've done it all, And now I haven't done it all, never done like heavy haul or chemicals or specialized or anything like that. I've pretty much just done the basics, right? Which is, OTR, local, regional, and then, the big freight types, which is dry van, flatbed, and reefer, which, who knows, maybe if there's interest, maybe we'll do that video another time, a different time. So, to get into the meat and potatoes of the video, OTR versus regional versus local. We'll go in that order because that's the order for which I did it. All right, so my first trucking experience came at CR England, which was over the road. And the second company I worked at was Melton, which was over the road. Third company was CFI, which was also over the road. The fourth company I worked at was KLM, which was regional, operating in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. I went farther than that sometimes, but that was primarily my operating space. And then, regional and local here at the company I'm at Trucks for You. I started off regional, and then for probably the last 2.5 years, probably been local. So for me, the way I kind of file these away is OTR would be you're in a sleeper truck out there, gone for at least a week, most likely 2 or 3 weeks, and if you're like extremely OTR, 6 weeks, and longer. When I was a CR England, Melton, and CFI, that's what I was doing. I was doing at least 6 weeks out at a time. And to me, being an over-the-road truck driver wasn't a ton different from other experiences I'd had, like being deployed, right? Because you kind of just have to put all that stuff to the side, family, all that off to the side, and you just kind of focus on your job and doing it day to day. You get in a routine. I think that, to me personally, OTR is the actual easiest actual one, right? Because to me, and I know I may piss some people off with that. I may get some mean comments or whatever. To me, OTR is the easiest. Um, you're getting 10 hours off, but you're not having to drive home. You're not having to drive to work. Literally, your drive to work is the 2 steps from your bed to your driver's seat. That's your drive to work every day. So you're getting a lot more of your 10-hour break. You can still sleep 8 hours, get 2 hours to do whatever you want to do, and still, running tight. With being regional, it's similar, but a little bit different because, you may be out for 2 or 3 days, but, you're still driving to work. You're still driving. To me, OTR was the easiest in some ways, right? It was also the hardest in some ways because you kind of got to have that dog in you. You're taking showers in the truck stop, and some of these showers are fucking disgusting. Some of them, I've had buddies send me pictures of fucking of showers out there with shit on the floor, right? I've had buddies send me. I've seen stuff like that where the toilets aren't clean, where there's still pee on the seat. Like they didn't even clean the seat off. Some trucker came in there, pissed all over the place, all over the seat, and they didn't even clean that. So yeah, the showers that you're taking over the road are disgusting. Another thing is I gained a ton of fucking weight being over the road. You know, Now you can get in the comments and at me if you want to about, oh, you can eat healthy. Truck stops got healthy options. You can get groceries on the truck. Yada yada yada. I get all that. Um, I gained a shit ton of weight trucking. Okay, I probably gained in the 3 years I was driving. I probably gained over 60 pounds. Over 60 pounds. That's at least, and that's not just gaining weight. That's losing muscle, right? So I had 2 things working against me. So not just am I gaining weight, I'm losing muscle also. So the weight I'm gaining is all bad. I mean, my muscles were atrophying, which is basically disappearing, right? You flex your bicep and you don't even feel nothing there when you touch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a big thing. That was why I switched from CR England to Melton, was because I started feeling like my health was going downhill. And maybe I should have gave Melton a better chance. I was only at Melton for 3 months, right? But that was one of the things I started to notice was OTR trucking was very, very, very bad for my health. That was just something that I noticed about myself. But also with OTR, I get it. Some of you guys got great jobs and you can go home whenever you want to, all that stuff. But a lot of times OTR, man, you're out at least 2 weeks. You're out 2 to 3 weeks, so you can take 2 to 3 days off, right? And depending on the company, you're not going through the house at all during that time. It's almost like, and this could be completely in my own head, but to me it felt like when I was over the road, my companies would they would purposely not run me anywhere near the house because they didn't want me going home, right? And maybe I'm not going to say maybe. I worked for some shit OTR companies. So I can't really speak on. Well, that's not true because I feel like CFI was a pretty good over the road company, so I can't say they were all shit companies. CR England was a shit company. 1,000% was a shit company. But I don't know. OTR, it wasn't like I couldn't do it, right? Because I did do it for almost a little over 2 years, right? Almost 2.5 years I did it, and I could have done it forever. It wasn't like it broke me. It wasn't like I couldn't do it. Basically, I went through some stuff. Wanted to be home more, right? I've got young kids, right? Currently, they're 10 and 12. When I came off the road, they were 7 and 9, something like that. Six or 7, and my son was 9 when I came off the road, and I was missing way too much. So I went regional. Okay, so let's get into the regional part. Regional to me was the hardest. I was getting home a lot more, right? So, I did a little bit of not necessarily at Melton. I did a little bit of they called it regional. They called it their Texas fleet. Didn't do it long enough to get any kind of experience at that. I did that maybe a week or two. Most of my regional experience was at KLLM, and it was the toughest, right? Because the schedule was crazy because it was a reefer company, and maybe it was just that experience I had at KLM, but it was a guarantee job, right? So I got paid on a guarantee. So as long as you didn't make the mileage goal, you got paid a set amount, right? Based off like 2,000 miles. So if you didn't drive 2,000 miles, which I never did, I don't think I ever did more than 2,000 miles, then you got a guarantee. The problem with that was they owned my ass, right? So they could do whatever they wanted to me. They would give me 2-3 days off. You'd get on a schedule. They'd call you one day and they'd say, "Hey, you got to pick up this load in 3 hours in Palestine and take it to Mississippi." And you had to drop what you were doing, maybe try to take a couple-hour nap, and you had to go pick that load up and run it. And that's just how it was. And if you told them no, or I needed sleep, or whatever, if you told them that, you're not getting the guarantee. You're not getting it. If you refuse any load, you're not getting. And they would give you 2-3 days off at a time. So if you didn't work that day, you may not get another load. I mean, you might, get 1,000 miles. You might make $400, $500, $600 on your check. The guarantee was good money, but to get the guarantee, you had to be available whenever they wanted you to run that. And your days off weren't really set. And like I said, this was the regional job I had. You may have a better regional job where you have a set schedule and whatever. But if you have a set schedule and you're home set times during the week and set times, that would almost be local. But that was my experience with regional. I didn't like it, Yes, I got a lot more time off, but at what cost? The next one I did was I did regional at Trucks for You. They called it regional. I think it was more local than regional. The only thing that made it regional was I had a sleeper cab, and they told me I could sleep on my truck 1, maybe 2 days a week. Now, I did that for probably 7 or 8 months, and I slept in my truck maybe 2 or 3 times in that 8 months. Now, that was a personal decision on my part because I wanted to be local, so I ran myself ragged doing these regional loads and still trying to go home every day. And it was tough. But that was a lot better experience regionally because it was steady work every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. That's the thing with Trucks For You, though. And this isn't a commercial for Trucks For You. Trucks For You is the best company I've ever worked for. I've never done OTR with them. They are primarily a lease company, but I am a local company driver, and I was a regional company driver. They give me whatever hours I want. If I want more time off, I talk to them and they do that. If I want more hours, because I get paid by the hour, I let them know they'll get me work on Saturdays. And I've never had an issue either working less time if I wanted to or working more time if I wanted to. Now, just standard, and I guess we'll slide straight into local. Local's my favorite. Local is some of the harder work I've done, but it's the best for me and what I want to do. Home, I drive in a day cab, so I'm home every single day. I'm off every single weekend. Now, that's to do a 34, right? Because I burn through an entire 70-hour clock in a week. Not every week, some weeks, right? On average, I do between 55 and 60 hours a week. I try to do more than 60. Not a lot more than 60, because the more hours over 55, 57, something like that, the more hours I do after that, the bigger chunk of my ass Uncle Sam takes. Right? So I get all the hours I want. I make some of the best money I've made in trucking doing this. Right? So now my top checks local aren't as good as my top checks over the road, teaming, that's getting referral bonuses, that kind of shit. The biggest checks I've ever made will probably always be either the teaming checks I made at CFI or the training checks I made at CR England when I was training 2 students or whatever. Those will always be the best checks. But on average, because you'd make good money while you're out on the road, but then you'd go home and you wouldn't get shit. Right? This here, local, because I get PTO also. I never got no PTO and given, I understand there's a lot of OTR jobs that do give you PTO, right? Like everybody in the comment section probably works at an OTR company, probably blows all this shit I'm talking about out the water. And maybe go check out the comments. Maybe you can find way better companies to go work at. But for me, doing local, I'm making, really good money compared to what I've always made. I'm getting every single day at home and at least one day on the weekend because I've got to do a 34-hour reset. I always at least get my 34-hour reset on the weekend all the time, every time. Because I have to. Because if I don't, I can't run the next week. Because we're working 10 to 14 hours a day here. 10 to 14 hours every single day. that we work, right? And, you know, we get PTO, and that's nice, but you take a day off local, it'll kind of fuck up your groove because that a PTO or holiday time or what, that's another thing. Being local, I get holiday time. And I can take that day off if I want to. Or I can work and make like double pay, right? Not really double pay because you'll get like 8 hours of holiday time, and then whatever you work will count towards your regular hours because your holiday time, it doesn't count towards your regular pay, which counts towards your overtime, right? So that is what it is. But I don't know if you can tell by my tone or whatever. I love being local. I love it allows me to have relationships with people. It's just what works for me. So maybe I'm biased, but let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. If you got any pros or cons of any of them that I didn't go over, let me know. I'm always open to be wrong. You know, that's one thing about being on YouTube is you got to be ready to be wrong. You're gonna be wrong some. So, but that will about do it for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.